One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.
4th of July weekend. Well, happy 4th of July to all. And with us today is one of our heroes from being a veteran, but he shouldn't be retired because we still need him. We have Brigadier General Blaine Holt, and he was he was at NATO, and he was working with my old friend Admiral Stavridis. Well, Blaine Holt, 4th of July weekend, what are you doing to celebrate?
So I am just about an hour south of the Canadian border in northern Idaho at the most beautiful lakeside campground you can imagine. And my wife, myself, and my two dogs, we're going to ring in. We're just going to keep celebrating this wonderful 250th anniversary.
That is wonderful, and that's what we're all going to be doing. And some of us are working, and we just have to celebrate, President Trump making America the greatest country in the world again, and keeping the free world free. Where would you like to start on our analysis for the weekend of where the heck we are?
Yeah, so there's a lot of misconceptions out there that, we're in some sort of stasis or stalemate with the Iranians' negotiations, the on and off again nature of them wanting to talk. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is what President Trump is doing strategically. He is using the Iranian 47-year-old strategy of kicking the can down the road, trying to buy more time. He's using that against them now. If they don't want to have a meeting in Doha, they want to wait till there's some funeral recognition of Khomeini. So be it. That's fine. The president knows that behind the scenes there is a revolution building. There's no currency of value in Iran. There is no food. There's no water, very little. And the Kurdish people are up on the Iraqi-Iranian border getting ready to help with an offensive with this revolution. You have the Iraqis that are arresting Iranian sympathizer politicians left and right who they have caught laundering billions to Hezbollah and the other proxies. And so the president just is going to wait this out. There's everything is working directly in the United States' direction. And anything you hear opposite from Galibaf or any of these Iranians, that is simply for them trying to tell their own people that they're still in charge, which they are certainly not. Straits will be a little more dangerous. I think we're going to drop a few more bombs before the whole thing is said and done. But this thing is going to a very good place.
Understood. Lebanon. What the heck is going on? I hope Israel takes out that center.
Yeah, well, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But the most important thing, which is, again, back to President Trump's Abraham Accord strategy, he's actually getting the Lebanese army, the real one, vetted. They're going to be working with the IDF to get rid of what's left of Hezbollah. And then, let's see, Lebanon gets a sovereign state without its cancerous parasitic tumor called Hezbollah, and Israel gets its security needs met, and now we're on our way to the Abraham Accords. Sure, it's going to be rough going in these days, but let's look at Hezbollah. They just lost their big laundering source. No more money, no more supply chains, no more illicit weapons, and their ranks and their leadership are dwindling by the day.
Understood. Hamas?
Well, Hamas is just all but vanquished. It's a shadow of what it was. It has no support from Qatar. I know that the IDF is still very busy in Gaza. There's going to be a lot of, the hard road ahead on Gaza is how does the Board of Peace address this? How do you balance Israeli politics and then the needs of the Palestinian people who are there in the aftermath of this? This is probably the most complex aspects of what's going on in the Middle East, but But again, I think everything ends with a lot of massive investment on all sides, the Arab states, Israel, and beyond, to try to have a new day.
Understood. Where else do you want to go? I mean, is there any hope for peace between Russia with Putin and Ukraine?
Well, this is where I was going to go right next. Is, again, we got a lot of misreporting out there on what's going on. You're hearing all over the place that, the Ukrainians have turned the tide. They're marching on them. They're taking land. They're hitting these refinery targets. Well, some of those things are true, but they're not in the size and nature that's going to win the war. It could prolong it, but when that attack on Moscow happened last week, that really boosted Putin in his own internal polling, and they just hammered Kiev last night with 500 drone attacks, or actually a few nights ago with drone attacks, with a lot of hypersonic Oreshnik missiles. In other words, let's go back to the strategic level. If you want to get out of this war, and we all do, the European leaders themselves are going to have to start talking diplomacy and less talk about prolonging the war and sending more money and weapons to Ukraine, because it's not going to end well that way. There is not a possibility with just the sheer mathematics for Ukraine to defeat Russia, although they're fighting valorous. I commend the Ukrainians for innovation on the battlefield and doing a great deal with a little. But quantity is a quality unto itself, and certainly the Russians have that in their favor.
Understood. Where else do you want to go in the world?
Well, I think we should all keep an eye on China. And we're all told that China's this beast that's going to be our next war within the next few years, and I take a different view. But we would do well to watch what happened with President Trump and Xi Jinping on that last visit. There is great factionalism infighting in China right now because of their terrible economy. Manufacturing's injured. The United States is not satisfied with their trade practices. We certainly don't like the level of espionage we see in our own country from the Chinese, and we're going to keep pressuring to do something about it. But it's how this is going to end in China with lead-ups to what they call the fifth plenum, and all the Politburo gets together. I think we're due for some major structural changes in Chinese leadership, but that's going to give President Trump opportunities. I think we should stop beating the war drums and thinking that any second now China's going to go after Taiwan. That nothing could be further from the truth.
Yes, absolutely, especially under President Trump's administration.
Absolutely.
What else would you like to tell the American people on 4th of July weekend?
Well, you've got a great country if you can keep it, as Ben Franklin said. You've got a great republic, and 250 is an amazing crossroads. Many empires have died at 250, but America and the American experiment is one that keeps rejuvenating itself. And I love Churchill's comment about our nation, and I'll leave it here. You can always trust the Americans to do the right thing after we've tried everything else. And I think there's a new day ahead for America, and I look forward to our nation enduring for another 250 years. Even though you and I won't be there to see it, we know that it'll happen.
Well, me and you are working hard for our kids and grandkids to get to the 300th year, because if we got the wrong administration, I was worried about that.
I totally agree with you. And honestly, we don't want to be the generation that fails our founders, and we darn sure don't want to be the generation that fails our grandchildren. Well,
General Blaine Holt, thank you for everything you've done for our country and continue to do for our country, and God bless you and God bless America on this 250th year anniversary.
God bless, my friend. Thank you so much.